Hi, and welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Corrine Powell. I'm an intuitive guide and the owner of Change Radically. My intention, both here and in private sessions, is to come alongside you in a way that feels safe and empowering. So many of us are experiencing similar things and feeling common emotions, but we won't know that unless we talk about it. You aren't supposed to have to go it alone. I specialize in helping people pleasers change patterns and create a life they feel good about. Life should not be consumed by doing things you feel obligated to do. Do you want to feel a lot less frustrated? Then stop living in a way that benefits everyone else at your expense. Empowered to Thrive is a place of safety. Conversations focus on topics that impact our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Parenting comes up too, because I'm a mom to 4 kids, and it's natural for me to talk about the impact that has on life. Bottom line, you're always welcome here, no matter what type of day you're having. Your friends and their friends are welcome too. Please share the podcast. Let's create a place of community and connection that is saturated by authenticity and transparency. I'll start. Now, on to today's episode. It's always good to be with you. And this week, we're going to talk about the benefits to going on the healing journey. Perhaps you're already on it. Maybe you're experiencing some of these benefits. Or perhaps you're on the healing journey, dissatisfied or nervous that maybe the results someone else gets, you're not going to get. Hear what my heart wants you to know. It takes time. There's ups and downs. But rest assured, you will start to experience some of the things you've been hoping for, that you're hearing me or other people talk about. Oftentimes, we can't even see the change that's happening within us. But other people can sometimes tell change is happening within you because of what happens on the outside. So you are changing. Things are turning for your good. It will not always be as hard as it might be today. I've been at this almost 2 decades. I recognize it is so layered. There's so much to the healing journey. And in the moments, in the seasons, because I have periods of time where I don't go back to where I used to be because it's a different layer. But I have to remind myself in those times that feel dark and difficult that I'm going to come through them and I'm going to be changed as I come through them. We're changed as we go through these experiences. We don't come out the same as we did. When you go through a low point and you come out of it, you actually were changing in the middle of it, even if you can't tell. You don't have to take my word for it. Give yourself time. Healing takes time. But let me get to it. What are some of the things you can expect on the healing journey? First off, you're going to be able to show up as your authentic self more and more comfortably. If you're anything like me, I used to walk into a room, wonder what everyone was thinking of me, and change who I was and how I showed up to try and make everyone else comfortable with hopes that everyone would be happy with me or would like me. Most of that was subconscious. I wasn't actually thinking all those things, but underneath the surface, that's what was going on. And over time, again, without me even realizing, healing was happening and I was more and more comfortable in my own body with my own self. And so I was able to show up and be me without the same amount of shame, without the fear, and having to apologize less and less. I used to say I'm sorry all the time. I was sorry for just being me. Why does that happen? Oftentimes when we are very young, before we even remember, like things happen when we were little that impacted us tremendously. We don't even remember. we learn what makes our caregivers, our parental figures happy. And our goal in life really, truly is to be accepted, to be loved, even better, to be liked. So we notice, especially certain personalities, certain types of people more than others, are going to be really connected and in tune with what our caregivers' facial expressions are, what their attitudes are towards us, their emotional states. But what we don't recognize as kids is there's so much playing into why our parents or our caregivers are showing up the way they are. It's not actually all about us, but we think it is. It's a very childlike thing to walk in a room and think it's all about us. The more we grow emotionally, the hopes is that we actually recognize everything isn't about us. People are talking, but they're probably talking about something not related to us. And there's a lot of us adults that actually still think everything's about us. And I don't say that in a critical way. I'm only shining light on that to say, as we heal, we worry less about what other people think. We don't internalize everyone's reactions, emotional states, facial expressions as a reflection of us. We recognize, no, you know what? This is a lot about them. Maybe they're having a difficult day. Maybe they're emotionally activated and dysregulated. So they're showing up in the relationship because of what's going on behind the scenes or deep within them. It isn't because of us. Even if you were to say, yeah, but when I get really flustered, so does this person near me, like another adult. Okay. You aren't to blame for their dysregulation. Sometimes people only know how to mirror what someone else is doing, and they don't know how to regulate on their own. And there's so much interwoven into this. We don't learn how to regulate on our own if initially there was no one to co regulate with us. As a little kid, we need someone to notice you're having a hard time. You're really disappointed. And to meet us in our emotional state and to sit with us in that place, basically saying, I understand, or I feel your disappointment. And then to help us come back to joy after we've been able to feel our feelings, to say, well, let's go and jump on the trampoline now, or let's go read a book together. That's a way to help a child return to joy, because you don't want to shut down their emotional expression, but they also don't need to stay stuck in it. And when they're young, they need someone to help them. Now, you might say, gosh, like, I'm not a little kid, but I feel like I need help too to come out of the places I'm stuck emotionally. Well, we all do, especially if we didn't have that modeled to us, that co regulation modeled to us when we were young. Now we have to figure it out. Like, we don't know how to return to joy. We don't know how to go from, we don't know how to let our emotions pass through us, because it takes about 90 seconds scientifically for an emotion to like start and then pass through and dissipate. This came up for me the other day. I was disappointed about something and super tired. And I had to feed my baby. I had to nurse my baby. So I was like, I'm going to go lay down and take a nap. Then I realized, like 90 seconds later, I was like, oh, I feel like joining the crowd again. And I did. Like, really, I just needed to allow those feelings to just be there. I didn't have to like make a big decision based off of them. Like, nope, I'm opting out on this crowd. I'm going to take a nap. No, I just need to let them pass through and then go. Be doing what I wanted to do again. And so co-regulation is something we have to learn early on, or learn in adulthood, reparenting, becoming the wise, loving adult we always needed to have. We just become that for ourselves. And if you don't know what to do, reach out to me, or someone else who can help you on the healing journey. That's the whole point of this. We're not meant to do it alone. So one of the benefits to going on the healing journey is actually learning how to be authentic, to show up and be able to be comfortable being yourself, not feeling like, oh, I'm too big and too vibrant, or I don't know how to show up and add, like to show up and feel like I have something to contribute. Most of the feelings that we experience, the underlying beliefs which affect, these things affect the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we function. Most of it is often based on the home environment we grew up in, the parental figures we had, the caregivers in our life that we spent a lot of time with, and how these individuals, what they modeled to us, is what conditions us to become who we are. Now, can we unlearn, relearn, change mindsets, patterns, ways of living? Of course, at any time we can. That's the beauty. It's the beauty of the way the brain and the body works. It's a wonderful thing. I'm very different than who I was 18 years ago when I started on this journey. Extremely different. Many of my clients that I work with are very different than who they were even 3 years ago. It takes intention, but it's all possible. I'm interrupting the episode for just a moment to share with you about a membership program that I've designed to benefit you at any time of day, any day of the week. You will have access to pre-recorded videos that will focus on all topics relating to the healing journey, and you'll be able to access them whenever you wish. In addition to that, you'll have access to me if you need a listening ear. You just need to process what's going on and just have someone listen, not necessarily to give you their feedback, just to hear you out. I will be available for you. And then perhaps there's times in the week where you're like, hey, I do need some feedback about what's going on. I'm not sure the best way to navigate this. Or I'm just wondering, is how I'm feeling about this valid? Is what I'm doing reasonable? You can also reach out to me and we can dialogue about it. If you're interested in learning more, follow the link in the show notes and pick up a package that works well for you. Now, back to today's episode. So you're going to learn also that piece of self-regulation, how to learn co-regulation so you can self-regulate. And that just really means being able to, I guess this term kind of sounds a little bit unemotional, but to manage your emotions, to actually feel like you're empowered and able to decide how you want to show up and how you want to live your life. Because sometimes our emotions rule the roost. It's like we let them take over and we let them run the show, which I get it, I understand it, but we lose out a lot when that happens. It doesn't have to be that way. All around, you're going to be able to experience more inner peace and more joy as you go on the healing journey. It's a byproduct of all these other things you've been talking about. It will not mean that every moment of every day feels amazing. No, like you will feel joy and delight in a deeper way than you ever have before. It's true. You might feel all your emotions more enhanced. It's hard to say because it really depends on how you feel your emotions right now. Some people shut down. They suppress what they feel. They don't even know what they're feeling. Other people feel certain emotions very intensely, very strongly, like rage or anger. but they don't feel the joy and the delight. And I'm just throwing out a few examples. There's a plethora of emotions. But also, you're going to notice you feel less frustration because if you're showing up as your authentic self, you are less frustrated because sometimes internal frustration is a byproduct of not being true to ourselves, not honoring our needs, not having boundaries, and we say yes to things we don't want to. We show up to things that we don't even want to be at. We live our life working a job we hate. It doesn't have to be that way. And maybe this sounds too good to be true. I don't know, but I'm living it out. So it's really easy for me to talk about it as if it's possible because I've experienced it. And a lot of times what we experience, we believe as truth, which goes both ways. And again, I'm going to emphasize, I'm not the only one experiencing this. I see the clients I work with start to experience these things. And I just had someone reach out to me this morning. I was so happy that she shared with me that she has gotten more comfortable with listening to her body, exercising when it feels good, exercising in a more gentle way, and not controlling the amount of foods that she eats in the way she used to, not measuring all the food, like still eating nourishing foods, but just doing things in a way that sounds more compassionate towards her body, more gentle, more kind. I'm so proud of her because this is a byproduct of all the other inner work she's been doing. She already experienced lots of other results relating to other things. But now this is a new area where she's feeling the effect, experiencing the effect of the inner work she's done. And this is just happening over time. Again, that's why I said things are changing even when you might not think they are. They're changing. You are changing. If you're on the healing journey, you're doing the intentional work, you're showing up for yourself, and you're willing to look deeper within you, and you're not turning a blind eye to things, like that will get you results. That's really all that's needed. So, what else can you expect on the healing journey as a benefit to being on the healing journey? Your relationships are going to improve. Of course they will, right? Like you're going to have boundaries. You're going to show up the way you want to. You're going to be able to actually express yourself and regulate your emotions. So if you have a heated conversation with somebody, you won't have to run away from it necessarily. You could take a break, but then you come back to wrap it up. You won't have to shut down. You can say what you're thinking, say what's on your heart and mind. You're going to be able to also feel more settled, more regulated as you're doing these things. Yeah, you still might shake. But if you're saying what you want to say, you're able to stay present, not dissociate. You're engaged with the other person. That's better. That's still better. Even if your body's shaking because it's feeling the intensity of showing up in this new way, in a way that feels risky and scary, and in a way that's different than how you used to show up, your body's just responding to that. Over time, even that gets easier. You'll notice, oh, my heart's not racing. I'm not shaking. I'm able to say what I think, how I'm feeling in a very regulated way. And it's okay to be dysregulated. The goal isn't to always be calm. And I don't think of regulation as calm. I usually think of it as just feeling like we're in control of what we're feeling, that other people aren't running the show, that our emotions aren't running the show, that we are, that we're choosing into these things. But being dysregulated, it's a part of life. It's okay. It's when you live in that dysregulated place all the time That sucks. That's hard. That's what I want to help you get out of, because I know how that is. That's a rough way to have to live. You were happy and then all of a sudden you became super depressed and you shut down and you didn't want to do anything. You didn't want to go anywhere. You changed your plans. One example. Oh, that's hard. All right, let's see. What else can you, and my list is not exhaustive of what you can expect on the healing journey. No way. These are just a few things that quickly came to my mind when I think about what are the perks? What are the benefits to doing this inner work, this deliberate, intentional, difficult sometimes inner work? You're going to enjoy life more. You're going to learn that it's okay to be childlike and to be playful and to have fun. You're going to rest more. You're going to sleep more because you're going to learn to take care of your body and yourself, and you're going to rest more. There's just going to be times in your day that are slower. Your schedule is going to be less. These things, they become a byproduct of healing, and it enhances living. It changes your perspective on life. It changes how you feel within your days. And it changes the way you interact with people. So I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what perks, what benefits you've experienced as you've been on your own healing journey. Or if you haven't started yet, what are the ones that you want to experience? Maybe some I've said, some you've heard from other people, or things that you just feel deep within you that you're like, you know what? If I'm going on the healing journey, this is one of the things that I want to shift and change. Having these goals, the vision for why you're doing the difficult work, because sometimes it feels really difficult. And I don't think it always feels difficult. For some people and some personalities, it always feels difficult. But having a reason why you're going to do it helps, makes it easier, makes it better. So let's connect and share with me what your takeaways are from this. Because I'm not just here talking to blab on and on. I'm here because I like connecting with you. So I'd love to hear back from you. And until next week, remember, I am so glad that you're alive. We've come to the end. What did you think about what you heard? I hope that there's something you pull from today's episode and start implementing it into your life. Create the change that you want to see, the change that you hear about. You have the opportunity to transform your life, and I'm ready to link arms with you and to help and guide you to the life that you want to live. If you resonated with what you heard today and it touched you, would you share it with your friends? Would you also go ahead and rate my podcast and write a written review? It would mean so much to me. I hope that we'll connect, whether it's for a session or just to connect because I enjoy meeting new people. You can find me on Instagram, Kareen_Change Radically, or on Facebook, Change Radically. You can also always email me, Kareen@changeradically.com. If you have thoughts, questions, or anything that you just want to talk about, send me an email. I hope that you have a wonderful week. But no matter what your week is like, in the moments that are quiet, maybe it's when you pillow your head at night, or when you're driving in the car or taking a walk, or maybe it's going to be in the midst of the chaos with your children or the craziness of work. I hope that you'll remember how significant you are, that there is meaning and value to your life, and that I, for one, am so glad that you're alive. Catch you again next week.